important happened here that I need to tell you and I need to show you as well. Okay? Remember before, guys, when I told you about the 9th of November of 1923, it was the beer hail putsch that happened exactly here. So I'm standing in the place where the Nazis were standing back then, leaded by Hitler, that was standing a little bit on the front. At the same side of that gate, all the way here, it was these barricades that the police would make. This is the place where these 16 Nazis died, and that's why for when Hitler raised to the power, it was important to build a memorial for these guys. Hitler used to refer to these 16 Nazis as the pillars or the martyrs of the National Socialism. That's why he decided to, on top of here, right in this place, build a very big plate with all the information and the names of the 16 Nazis, also the names of the 4 cops, because he ended up considering that those cops died on their duty. Okay, and you see in the wall there are like 3 blocks, 3 squares over there that, you know, from another color. They have another color. You see that? Yes? Okay, those were plates that were hooked to the wall before with the names and information, with everything that happened here. Right there in the floor below there used to be standing 2 members of the SS. I told you at the beginning the SS was created back in 1922 and it was a group of protection for Hitler. Back in 1933, it's a group in charge of all the concentration camps in Europe, led by General Himmler, known as the genocide of the century. Okay? Anybody walking by here, guys, it was mandatory for them to do the Hitler salute, because if you would refuse, that means you're against them. If you're not with the Nazis, you're against them, and they're gonna hunt you. They're gonna go after you. And there was a very big punishment if you would refuse to do the salute. For that, I need to show you one more thing here.
It's hard to believe tomorrow at this time we'll be on the plane.
I know.
Wait,
I'm so glad we did this.
I know, me too.
Gosh, got to learn so much about everything that it's for. So thankful that he's so knowledgeable. I don't think most tour guides are this knowledgeable. He's really. You know, this is gold. It's gotta mean something.
Okay, guys. This aisle, I have to tell you, was very important before. This specific aisle has name. This was known as the Shirker's Alley or the Doctor's Aisle. The reason is because this was used by people only for preventing walking that way. Because some people, I tell you, a lot of German families suffered so much. A lot of German families didn't want to do that. But they were afraid. They were going to be persecuted, harassed by Nazis. Look at the yellow train below. That is there's a little train that goes all the way there. It's formed by 200 brass bricks. 200 brass bricks that represents 200 people that got arrested and they were sent to a concentration camp. Okay? Just think about it. In those times, being sent to a camp, it was the same as dying, because the life expectancy for people was 0%. That's something very important to keep in mind. Okay? So that is what happened here. You guys have any questions so far? So I just wanted to finish telling you something. Everybody told you, and way more, is what German students learn nowadays. Everybody living in Germany studies in secondary school between 3 and 4 years about the National Socialism, about the Nazis, about everything I told you. Students get to visit concentration camps, so I'm telling you, they're very conscious of what happened before. The government is working amazing in the education. I can tell you, I can bet you that in your country or in mine, wherever we're from, they don't tell us the things that happened before, the way they happened. All the horrible things that happened in my country, I learned them on my own by reading, investigating, and going to see other places. But I never learned at school about some things. For example, in Peru, we went through 14 years of terrorism. And there's some private documents that showed how thousands of people, for example, if it was a meeting with 2,000 people and there were only 4 terrorists, they would kill them all. And the government did. Okay, they never teach me that. I had to learn it on my own. Here, it's amazing. And the end education is the only way you can break the circle and move on, you know. This, for example, happened a little while in Southeast Asia. If you read the history of Cambodia, it was very sad. Back in 1970s, a guy called Pol Pot ended up taking. He became a dictator. He killed over 1.6 million of his own people after the Second World War. Mao Zedong, it was a civil war between Mao Zedong and the opposition back in 1925. That's why Japan could take it easier and take half of Chinese territory. After the Second World War, Mao Zedong raised to the power. What did he do? He killed over 65 million people. The population of China back there was a little bit more than 300 million people. But imagine how crazy it's been, and it will keep happening until we get to study. You know, again, this is happening in North Korea right now, which is very sad. Okay, guys. So if you don't have any questions, I will take you to the last point of this tour, which is the most important part of downtown, because there's a nice story, and probably you're tired, you're thirsty, you're hungry. This is a good place to finish. Please come with me.